enlightenment and to aim for wealth? Is there a way to unify that?
I think if you, I think both need effort. So if you want to achieve something immediate result, maybe it's wealth may be more faster than enlightenment.
He said if he is trying to think about what you said, to use the money with purpose, and then you pay taxes about 50% to the state, that you pay taxes to the state and 50% of these are used for weapons and warfare. How can that? Was war die Frage, wie kann man das vereinen?
Yeah.
How can he deal with that?
There's a different way of looking. Now, there is people which support by making weapons. So if you look at one way, it's not too bad because you are giving food for those people. So those people have to eat something. They can't eat weapons. So don't worry, give it money. It's like whole United States budget, something like 25% is to spending for the military. But if you don't spend in that, then there is a large number of people who hasn't got any job. So they have no incomes. So that's also a problem.
But this can be changed.
Yeah, I think there have to be some way to change, not just to say we don't want that, but there have to be re-education, retraining. Of course, anything is changeable. But in the moment that in the world there's so much changement, and so I hope everything will change in the right direction.
Rinpoche, can you tell me how it was possible to build up a Samye Ling? How it comes that so many people give so much money to build up Samye Lings?
Samye Lings? There's only one Samye Ling. No, Samye Ling, you mean the temple? Or just generally as Samye?
No, as a temple. As
temple? The temple is took 10 years to achieve as a building. But the old people which they built the temple is a volunteer. There's only, I think the total number which we paid for other professions around about 20,000 pounds, but the rest is only a volunteer. Now, when we talk about volunteer, they don't come and brought their own food, they don't come with brought their own bedrooms, but we provide food and to accommodations. So in another hand, you can look at, in our point of view, it's like we didn't pay the money, but cost each person £60 per week, because that one, if they stay in there, that will cost. So, and you count it in both way. The expenses for the project is about £200,000 cost for the material, roundabout. But if it's built by a builder, it will cost roughly £2.5 million. And in that way, there is a big saving. But on the other hand, we still owe the money to bank. So it's not paid yet. The building is done, but money is still to be paid. Yes?
You described the interdependence between the lay people who are giving money for the monasteries, and the monks and the monasteries are maintaining the monastery when it has been built up. And then this is maybe the first stage. Then the second stage might be when this level has been reached. So I give you an example. In Kagyü, Ling this summer, in South France, the center of Akong Rinpoche, they never demanded so much money for only listening to the teachings as in the years before. This year they demanded for 1 month to listen to the Dharma 2,500 francs. This is about 850 Deutschmark per month. Only for listening, not for sleeping and for dinner and food and so on. So for many people who lived outside the monastery, who rented houses or rooms, they had to pay 2,500 francs per month. So it came to disputes with the Lama, who took up the responsibility for that. When we talked with him, he said, I am not responsible for this, the director is responsible. When we talked with the director, he said, I'm not responsible for this, the Lama is responsible. And so there were much tensions about that. Also in the months before, because many students or potential students didn't come to Kagyü Ling to study with Khenpo Tsulten Gyatso Rinpoche. They could not come because they didn't have so much money. And this seems to me a little bit contradictory to the ideas which you give an exposition in detail for the construction of monasteries and maintaining monasteries. How can an individual deal with this contradiction, which is not a contradiction if you explain the merit which is gained by that for a subject. But when a subject is on the way to study and has the wish to listen to the teachings of a Lama, cannot come to this monastery, which has the use to create this possibility.
I can't speak behalf of Kagyü Ling, but I only speak myself, because every center has its own policy. I have my own policy. There is every center, wherever it's associated or wherever it's connected with their own policies. I hope myself sincerely that I don't have to charge people to listening teachings. I only charge people to stay. And the charge is very little compared with many others, but also the quality of rooms are poor too. It's not excellent, it's poor. The cost may be to 12 pounds a night, which covers food and accommodation. It covers everything. Whoever it comes during the daytime for lesson teachings, it's always free, and I hope it will remain is free. Now, in the temple itself, now there is two things. We have a large number of people, tourist people comes to see the temple. Now we have problem with tax, VAT people, and one said, now this is a monastery, and therefore you have to be paid VAT, what is cost to building this temple. Now, to out of this system, you have to charge somebody and say, if you are making money, we don't have to charge for you VAT. But if you're not going to charge, we have to charge you VAT. So that was in our mind. Shall we have to charge to people just coming to see the place, or how much we should charge? That's one of the questions. But we all agreed that it's up to them to put in donations, but it was not wise to be charged to come in to see the temple. So we decided to pay the VAT, even it cost us something like £16,000, which is according to them, quarter of the temple is only using for the prayer, quarter of the temple is making money, a third of the temple is making money, giving courses, but the quarter of the temple is only you are worshipping, not making money. But that's how they found the excuses, so we have to pay that. We decided to pay rather than charge for people. So that's what I done. But I'm sure that I can't say the Kagyü Ling's policy, what would be. I only talk my own. So the connection, Samye Ling, and those who has house, Buddhist people which originally stay in Samye Ling, move out now Samye Ling. There's 27 houses, 27 family. The arrangement, what we have is normally they come to Samye Ling maybe one day a week to walk there. And whenever they come, we don't pay them, they don't pay anything to us. And in the present moment, Samye Ling has very limited accommodations. When we are very full, whatever the empty room they have, they will let us use the room, and they will take £1 from each person they stay. One £1 every night from each person as their own expenses. And the rest money Samye Ling take and Samye Ling feed. And all those 27 house, it's about round about 100 people involved. They can come and go whenever they wish for the teachings. They can come and go whenever they wish for eat whatever we have. Either they put some donations or they don't need to pay anything. So it's it's one family idea, not two family ideas. So it's for that group is quite, we coordinate quite well, I think. That's what our way. I don't know other ways. But I can't say what will be future of Samye Ling's. I hope I don't have to charge too much, and I hope I wouldn't change too much.
If you want to become rich, you have to deal a lot with money and put your mind into it. So what consequences does it have on the mind to deal with it? What dangers are there involved?
I think that depends how you do. I mean, sometimes the money just turn up in the front. You don't have to do anything. Sometimes you fight for your life. Still, you never get anything. It have to be your luck than anything else. I mean, there was in India, in Sikkim, place called Sikkim, and one man win a lottery, 1 million Indian rupees, and he died next day because he's so excited. So he never able to use his money for not even 1 rupee. So
he's saying, you know, in German, what you call an English loan is called credit.
yeah, yes.
And it means actually from the Latin root, it is the same root as having confidence or having trust. So he said they're actually putting trust in you by giving you that. Did I understand that right?
Yeah.
So there's some connection.
Yeah, for me. But it's not the trust to me. If we're thinking about 200,000, they have the whole land in the bank.
Oh, I see.
So they not trust, they not just lending to me, but order to lend their money, they have. If I can't able to pay by Dingo everything, so what else they need? Bank don't lend you without guarantee of your house, your land.
Also die Bank verleiht es nicht ohne Sicherheiten des eigenen Hauses oder Land oder so ähnlich.
So like me, to get 200,000, they have the Samye, the temple has worth of 2.5 million. Not only that, but the land and the other houses, roughly about 3 million pounds worth. So that they have. So they don't need to worry in the moment. So maybe temple becomes a bank. No more prayer room.
Does the poverty and the wealth of, well, if there's two, does the wealth of one depend on the poverty of others? Like he's giving the example of the third world, like Europe and the United States are very rich, but the third world is poor, and you know that we're rich on, you know, on their back. Or is there another way of looking at it that, you know, that there's?
I think there's many ways of looking. If you look at the poor people in United States itself, it's already third world. There's 15 or 25,000 people has no home in the moment, sleep in the street, and 7,000 people sleep in London street itself. So third world is already there. You don't have to go to Ethiopia to order to experience what means third world. I'm sure in Germany already too. Everybody doesn't drive Mercedes. Many of them they drive in cardboard boxes, in street, in the railway stations. That's all they have. But on another hand, the rich, the money does not mean a rich. I think it depends your mind. If you're feeling you're rich, you're always rich. If you're feeling you're poor, no matter how much money you have, you're always poor. So it's not really a matter of how much money you have, it's a matter of how you accept yourself. We give soup in London for, in the moment, 3 places, about 150 people each. There's not that many charity works in London. The third world country, they work in many charity, but London, they don't. So I think same situation in the United States. Rich people always do charity far, far away, but doesn't do anything your next neighbor.
This is when it comes to the railway station, they're beggars. he wants to know, is it beneficial to give them any money, like give them a mark and then they go and buy alcohol for it, or should one just walk by, or what's the way to behave here?
Take a plate of sandwich next time. Sandwich, food next time. I think that we found that is the best thing for the people.
Also, wir haben herausgefunden, dass das für das Beste ist für die Leute.
In our organization, feed several countries, all in a Europe country. It's called Neugebauer organization. Gives food in London, Glasgow, Brussels, Spain. So all in European countries. And we don't give money, we give only food. Yeah?
Concerning the amount of, or the measure of merit, what would you say, which is a bigger amount of merit, to give money for a monastery, or to give money for somebody who is going into retreat, or to give money and to buy bread and sandwich to someone who needs it, who is hungry?
I think best to give me the money. That would be the biggest merit. No, it's just said, every of them they has merit, but whatever going to be longest has a longer merit. So the buying sandwich and feeding poor people has merit for long as that person lives. If you given, it have to be pure gift. It's not just I given because somebody else given it. I given because I want to become famous. These are kind of negative, so there's no merit for those. Gift, something which is not expected anything return for this, except entirely thinking a merit or entirely thinking for those people. So if you look at the, like example, temple, I think it's a much longer merit, but that does not mean you should give only for temple. I think if you had a pound or 1 mark, you share this for 4 pieces. Quarter for the temple, quarter for the retreat, quarter for the beggar, and quarter for somebody sick to buy something. If you give it for all equally, I think that would be the best thing. So you have merit for short distance, you have merit for long time benefit.
Which one is the longest?
That's very difficult to say. It depends if somebody go in a retreat. If that person's going to be achieve enlightenment, realization, and that person going to give so much benefit for other people, I'm sure that would be the best. But one can't say if that person goes to retreat, whether that person going to achieve anything or not going to achieve anything or going to achieve everything. How would one know? So therefore you do the safe way to give everybody equally. Is that long enough now? Or go on talking? Thank you very much for listening.